Hi everyone, today we are going to make a clay gnome. In your to-go kit you will have 1 pound of clay, some toothpicks and a small mat. This is what you're going to work on. You will also need to get yourself a small cup of water. So to begin with, we are going to give our clay a little bit of a bashing so that it brings it to life. So the best way to tear your clay is to twist, and we are going to twist slightly over half of our piece and set one piece aside, and we're going to make this into a round ball. Doesn't have to be perfect because we are going to smooth it and do what we need to. Okay, so here we have a round ball. Now if any of you are familiar with a pinch pot, that's what we're going to make next. And we do that sticking our thumb right in, and then we start pinching. So we're going to pinch the inside of the clay to make a pot, but it's an upside down pot. And this is going to be your gnome's body. Okay, and you can make it as tall as you like by pushing inside here. So push to make it taller. We're going to tap it down and just push it together with your hands so that you're making it a nice body shape. Then you're going to take some water on your fingers, not too much, otherwise you end up with a sticky mess. So you're just going to smooth that body out. You can press quite firmly to make it nice and smooth. Just smooth your body out. Now, this gnome is made from clay, which comes from the ground, and it will have to be fired in the kiln. You can keep it at home, and you're going to dry it slowly with your cling wrap over it, and then take it off and dry it slowly. Once it's dry, you can get some paints and paint it, and then we will put it in the kiln and fire it, and it will be okay to go outside. So once your body is nice and smooth, the next thing we're going to make are two little feet. You're going to pull two pieces of clay, small pieces off your pile here. You want them to be about the same size, and you're going to roll them into a nice ball. Okay, just two nice balls about the same size. You're going to press your thumb in like this. Same on both. Okay. And now we're going to do wet, score and stick. So wherever we're putting the feet, we are going to wet, we are going to score. Score means you're roughing up your clay, you're just making it nice and rough. And then you're going to take your foot and you're doing the same thing, rough up your clay, wet it, and then you press your two wet scored pieces together, and you're going to flatten out your foot so that your gnome still sits flat on the ground. So there's one foot, and then you're going to do wherever you want the other foot to be. Same thing, wet, score, wet, score your little foot as well, and stick and flatten your clay. Now, while you have your gnome turned upside down like this, It's very important that you put your initials in here. So I'm writing FTP. So put your initials on the inside and then you set it down, and there you've got your little feet. Okay, now we're going to make our hat. So just take a piece of your clay and you're going to roll it. Give it a little tap like this so you get a flat end, and again you're going to stick your thumb in there. So we're making a hole and we're going to pull this part up to make your hat shape. Okay, so just pull your hat up, form the shape. You can bend it over. You can make it wider here. Just use your fingers to pull it wider. And then we're going to see, how does it look on here? Well, it could be bigger. We could maybe open this part out a little more. Okay. And you're going to use your water and you're going to smooth out your hat. And make your point come up, and you can curl it over. Okay. Not too much water, remember, too much will make it just slimy and sloppy. And once you're happy with your hat, then you're going to glue it. So if you wet in here, all in here, and set it on, you should see your wet marks right there, and that's where you're going to score. So same thing, always with clay, you wet, score and stick. So rough up your clay where your hat's going to sit, a little bit of water, and rough up the inside of your hat. Okay, so here's what my hat looks like. It's just, and then I'm going to press it on nice and firmly and smooth it all out. Take away my fingerprints. Okay, now I'm going to make this guy a nose. If you make a really big nose, make sure you put some holes in it, because you know clay can blow up in the kiln and we don't want anything like that happening. It's the same thing. You wet, wet, score. Remember, rough up your clay, both places. I'm going to tuck mine under this hat a little. And he has quite the nose. I'm just pressing it to make sure it's going to stay on there. And I've lifted his hat up so that it's sort of leaning on his nose. Now I think this nose is quite big, so I'm just going to put two tiny little nostrils right in here. Just make sure that it's stuck on there. And the next thing he needs is a beard. So I'm just going to take a piece of clay and flatten it. I don't want it to be too long, because if it's too long, that tends to be the bit that breaks off first. And I'm going to make it into a point just with my toothpick. Just using my toothpick, I've drawn the shape of his beard. Now I'm going to cut it out. So I've got this shape, and now I'm going to cut a piece out for his nose. So we just take this, we cut a bit out for his nose. We make sure, yep, it's going to go on there. So wet where it's going to stick, wet the back of your beard, rough it up. And then slip your beard on under your nose and just rub it in. And there you go. We've pressed it on here, and I'm going to take some water on my finger and I'm going to smooth out the edges of the beard just to make it nice and smooth. And just smooth it all around. Now you can draw little lines on your beard if you wish. Just to make it look like there's hair on there, and you can turn it up a little. You can also make a moustache, or you can just leave him with a beard. This one we have done a moustache. I'm going to leave this guy. I think he looks quite cute just with his little beard. But I am going to give him something on his hat. I'm just going to roll a piece of clay, just nice and long. I want to make sure it will fit around his hat. That is way too thick, so I need to make it thinner. Just rolling it with the palm of my hand. Okay, and I am going to, I'm going to have this bit overlapping so that it looks like it's sort of, okay, but need to wet, score and stick. So where it's going to go, you want to wet it. If you don't wet, score and stick, when it dries, clay shrinks and it will fall off. So I'm just roughing up where his hat's going, and I'm going to wrap this around, and I'm just going to have it cross over like this. And just press it on. This bit's a little long, so I'm just cutting it with my toothpick. And there we go. I just put a little bit on his hat. On this hat, we made a little buckle, so we just flattened down a piece of clay and made a little square buckle. If you want to make a moustache, you must just cut out one piece and then use that piece to make the same on the other side. So I've cut out this. Okay, so if I was going to attach this, I need to smooth out the edges. And then I would just wet, score and stick, but I would cut out a piece the same from another piece of clay. And there you go. You have a gorgeous little gnome ready to go. Dry him slowly. You can cover him now with your cling wrap that you have. Let him dry slowly so that he doesn't crack. And once he is dry, about 2 weeks time, he'll be fully dry. Then you can come and get some paints, take them home and paint him, and then we will fire him in the kiln. Thank you. Bye bye.